Ken Trahan with Lenny Van Gilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout metropolitan New Orleans and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. The New Orleans Pelicans are in action again Friday night. The Washington Wizards are in town coming off of a loss to Houston. The Pelicans have been off for a few days. Probably a good thing since they stunk against Boston and really got called out by their coach, Alvin Gentry, afterwards.
That was refreshing. So much you hear a lot of, shall we say, coach speak that, we got to do this better, give the other team credit, they did a nice job, things like that. Alvin Gentry just basically took that podium and just called out his team for what he did not like in the way of effort and execution and things like that. And it'll be very interesting to see how this team comes out Friday night, because keep in mind, you've got this, and then you got a 5-game road trip coming up. Pelicans are not back home until 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting time to see how they respond against a decent but not outstanding Washington team before that road trip, because again, when you hear a coach basically saying we didn't play hard and I'm not playing guys that don't play hard, and we know the guys that he benched, the message has been given. Whether they accept it or not remains to be seen. If they accept it, they'll get better. If they don't, locker room could become a bit contentious. We shall see. The New Orleans Saints are in action against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium on Sunday. Playing for pride now. Forget about postseason. 4-8 on the year. They've earned it. And historically worst defensive performance all season long, only matched by their historically worst defensive performance in 2012 and their historically worst defensive performance in 2014, which begs the question, what happened in 2013? How did that happen?
That's a great question. I wish I had the answer to explain why the Saints were the 4th-ranked defense in the NFL in 2013, because not a whole lot changed in there. And, here you are looking at a situation now where you're basically playing out the string. They'll have to play out the string without Mark Ingram, who's got a torn rotator cuff, had surgery on Thursday, and we'll look to see him back in the lineup next year. But the one thing that's going to be interesting now is how much does C.J. Spiller get used these final 4 games, or is it going to be Tim Hightower? And, Sean Payton even mentioned Marcus Murphy may get in the mix on offense as well, which I will be interested to see, because what you saw of him at Missouri, he can do some of those things that we saw, let's say, Darren Sproles do in a Saints uniform. And maybe he can become that kind of guy. Maybe he can become what you wanted C.J. Spiller to be, perhaps.
If Spiller doesn't get more reps, more carries, more touches, and doesn't produce, then you've got another free agent bust, which we've already seen 2 of over the last couple of years. So that is obviously a significant concern. Tampa Bay playing very well and finding themselves in the race for the wild card. So they're in it. They've got something to play for with a good young quarterback and good receivers. Their defense a bit chopped up, but we shall see how this one pans out over the weekend. When it comes to Tulane, we're still waiting to find out what's going to happen with their head coaching situation in football. They've kept it very quiet. Apparently 5 interviews and a decision to be made possibly within a couple of days here.
Well, here's the timing thing to consider in all of this, is that come the end of the weekend, there is kind of a dark window in terms of recruiting. You can't have contact until second week of January. So even if you get a coach in place, you get assistants and things like that, you can't recruit basically for a month. So if it happens here, we could very well see it happen Friday or Saturday, where they've got a chance to go make a blitz, if you will, out there, to use a football term, and get out to reinforce your presence with some of your commitments already, if you choose to do that, or even some of the people that you're still trying to get. So don't be surprised if something happens no later than Saturday.
College basketball all over the place. Obviously, you can follow that. And speaking of which, you got an ugly sweater promo?
I don't, but and no reference to what you're wearing. Which, by the way, I like the green.
Thank
it's Christmas, but I liked it. What UNO is doing Saturday night. Well, ugly sweater night. I guess Mark Schlesinger is going to put on his ugly sweater. His staff is going to do that, and they're encouraging the fans to do it. I think they're actually trying to set a Guinness World Records for the most ugly sweaters in one room.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. It's that time of year.
I probably have a few, but certainly not what I'm wearing now.
No, of course not. You're very green and very seasonal.
Okay. I'm just making sure we clarify that.
Yes.
And last but not least, don't forget the high school state championships. You can watch our preview on all of the championship games here at sportsnola.com. 2 games on Friday beginning at 4:30. Haynesville and Kentwood in 1A. Mangum and Kinder in 2A follows. And then Saturday starting at noon with Letcher St. James in 3A. Carr against Neville in 4A, and John Ehret against Zachary in 5A. We'll have all 3 broadcasts Saturday live on WGSO 990 AM and at WGSO.com. Our final version of the original is Friday night from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, 6:05 to 11 p.m. with a host of guests, and we look forward to that. It's been a great football season about to come to an end on the high school level.
It is, and as you mentioned, we've had 4 already. We got 5 this weekend. As you mentioned in our prep preview video, hopefully this is the last time we're dealing with 2 weekends and 9 championships, and we're back consolidated to 1 weekend and something less than 9 championships come 2016.
Yeah, we look forward to that. And we look forward to the weekend, Lenny. Have a great weekend.
All right, we'll see you Monday.
That's our First NBC Bank Weekend Preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout the Southeast Louisiana corridor and into Florida now as well. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. He's Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.